Hello friends, Mark Peotter here. You know, I have seen many videos by some great teachers on YouTube that explain jazz chords, basic harmony and theory of how do you make chords, what are the chords called. And even though there are so many lessons out there, I thought I want to make one of my own. And it's partly because I'm still seeing comments such as, what do these numbers mean? Why are there numbers next to my chords? Questions like this, and then sometimes they go unanswered. So I'm going to try to answer those for you. Okay, so maybe you don't know how to read music. That's okay. I'm still going to try to explain what those numbers are and how did they come about getting them in the first place. Okay, so if I start on C and play these notes going up, it's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that, my friend, is called a major scale. Now I was going to tell you about the numbers. That's where the numbers come from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we start over again. 1. Now later on I'm going to make it a little more complicated and go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth. But for right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right, you get it? That's called a major scale. And that is a C chord. Okay, so here's the major scale. When they talk about the numbers and you're worried about, oh, C7 this and sharp 11 that, and what in the world is a 13? Okay, so here's where it comes from. It all starts with the major scale. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go ahead and put 8 this time because we're going to go higher. All right, so this is 8. If this is 8, then that'll be 9. Okay, and this will be 10. The E is going to be 10. The word triad describes a 3-note chord, any 3-note chord. Okay, so triad, 3-note chord. And here's the standard 3-note chords. 1, 3, 5. Maybe you've heard of that. 1, 3, 5. On the guitar, the 1, 3, 5 is found many places on your instrument. C, E, G. That is a 1, 3, 5 in the key of C, and that forms the C major triad. Okay? It's a chord you already know, you just didn't think of it that way before. C, E, G. Okay? Now the thing about chords on the guitar is that anytime you play a C, an E, and a G, you are playing a C chord. Even if the notes are in a different place or out of order. For example, G, C, and E right there. That is also a C chord. Okay? When we form this chord, right? You've done that chord before. From the top down, we're doing E, C, G, E, and C. It's the same 3 notes, isn't it? There's a total of 5 notes. The E is repeated, E and E. The C is repeated, C and C. And only 1 G. And there you go. That is also a C chord. So all the C chords that you've already learned, how about this one? Did you learn this chord? Same 3 notes. G, E, C, G, C. Okay? Did you learn this chord? That's a C chord. C, G, E, C, G, C. There you go. So that's a 1-3-5 on the guitar. Now let's talk about a minor triad. The difference between a major triad and a minor triad is one note. It's the middle of the notes, the 3. Okay? In the major triad, we have 1, 3, 5. And this 1-3-5 is from the major scale of the 1. In this case, the major scale of C. In the minor triad, you have 1 flat 3 and 5. Okay, so you have to lower that middle note. So on the guitar, it's going to be like this. We had C major here, C, E, G. Now we want C, E flat, G. Okay, and that's just 3 notes, 3 strings. C, E flat, G. Okay. Here's another C, E flat, G. Right, different order. Here's another one, C, E flat, G. Okay, you probably know that one. Here's another one up here. Okay, that's C, E flat, G. Or going top down, C, then G, then E flat on that string. Okay? All of those are examples of a minor triad, a C minor triad. Let's just take 2 more examples on the guitar. The D major triad. You've had this before, D. We're just doing the top 3 strings, okay? So F sharp, D, and A. But if you lower the 3rd, which is the F sharp, down there, now it's D, F natural, A. That's why it's D here, D major here, and D minor there. It's because you lowered the 3rd. In the key of D, it's D, E, F sharp. F sharp is the 3rd, you lowered it to an F natural. Let's take the example of an A chord. On the A chord, you have A, C sharp, and E. Because C sharp is in the key of A. All right, so A, C sharp, E. And if we lower the C sharp to a C, now it's a minor triad. Okay, that's what's happening. So A minor, A major. Okay, now let's talk about 7th chords. Possibly the reason why you're watching this video. 7 chords. That means there's going to be a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 7. A 7 chord means it has 4 notes in it. On the guitar, you might not play all the 4 notes. On any instrument, you might not play all 4 notes, but any 7th chord that you can think of has 4 tones in it. And they are the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Okay? In the key of C major, it's going to be C, E, G, and B. B natural. Okay, so on the guitar, let's go to the guitar now. C, E, G, you already learned that. That's the triad. And now B, we have an open B string. That was easy. So here we go. That's your C major chord. Maybe you've learned this chord already. Okay? And when you play it, you might play 5 strings so that you're going to have, right? Some people even add on this bottom G down here and you got 6 strings. Okay? But the notes are C, E, G, and B. That's called a major 7 chord because the 7th is in the major scale. Everything is compared to major scale when we're talking about chords. The next one we're going to talk about is minor, okay? So compared to a major 7 chord, there are going to be 2 notes different in your minor 7 chord. 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7. Okay? Those 2 notes change you from a major 7 chord to a minor 7 chord. Okay, in this particular position, it's kind of hard to make the chord. I got a C, an E flat, a B flat, and a C, and my G could be up here. Okay, a lot of us are going to play it like this. Okay, so now it's C, G, B flat, E flat, and G. Compared to a major chord, what you had to do was you had to lower your E down to an E flat, and you had to find a B flat in that chord somewhere. So we took our C right there and we lowered it down to a B flat right there, and this makes your C minor 7th chord. Now let's go to dominant chords. In a dominant chord, the notes are 1, 3, 5, and flat 7 as compared to a major scale. All right, so compared to the major 7 chord, there is only 1 note difference between those 2, and it is the 7th tone. The 7th is B flat, and it's lowered when compared to the major scale. All right, so on your guitar, C, E, G, B flat, and C. Okay, let me do that again. C, E, G, B flat, C. There's an E here, G, there's a B flat right here. Okay, so all of that is a C7 chord. In music, from my perspective, for my money, I think of most music as 3 categories. It's either major, minor, or dominant. With these 3 sounds, most music is made. Let's get a couple more examples on the guitar. A few minutes ago, we did a D major chord like this. To get a D major 7, we're going to need a 7th tone. In this case, it's a C sharp. So we're going to lower this note from a D to a C sharp, and now it becomes a D major 7 chord. You might remember from discussion that the only difference between a major 7 and a dominant 7 is that tone. The 7th tone goes lower for the dominant. So I'm going to take this note and move it from here to here, and now it becomes a D7 chord, also called D dominant 7. People don't use the word dominant, they just say D7. But dominant is the proper terminology. So D, D major 7, D dominant 7. Okay. Okay, now let's do D minor 7. We have to lower 2 notes as compared to major. We're going to lower our 7 down a half step. We're also going to lower our 3rd of the chord, which is F sharp, down a half step. Okay, so now you've got this chord, and that's your D minor 7 chord. It's got a D, F, A, and C natural. You know other ways to play a D minor 7 chord. This is probably the one you've learned. Same notes, by the way, A, F, C, A, and D. And let's do one more. Let's do A. So an A major chord, you remember, was like this. An A major triad, right? Okay, to get a major 7, we're going to have to add on a G sharp, 1 fret lower than an A. We have an A right here. Lower it 1 fret to this. Keep the other notes exactly the same. And now you have an A major 7. Okay, let's go from there to a dominant 7. We're going to lower it even 1 more fret from here to there, open, and now leave the other notes the same, and you have an A7 chord. All right, A, C sharp, E, G, and in this note here is another E, so you're doubling the E. Now let's make an A minor 7 chord. When compared to major, we're going to have to lower 2 notes. We have to lower the third of the chord from C sharp to C, and we have to lower an A to a G. Okay, so now you've got these notes. And we've already done this shape on the guitar at least twice in this video. That's an A minor 7 chord. Okay, so it's got A, C, E, and G. Okay? They may not be stacked exactly in this order. That doesn't matter on the guitar. Like I said before, any place you play these notes in any order, in any location, the names are the same.